Imagine this, February 1797. Europe is a blood-soaked chessboard. Napoleon's revolutionary France is on the march, and Britain, the island nation, stands defiant. An invasion of the British mainland seems impossible, unthinkable, a fool's errand. But then, something truly bizarre happens. A French invasion force, 1,400 battle-hardened veterans, lands on British soil. Not in some grand strategic manoeuvre, but on a remote, windswept beach in Pembrokeshire, Wales. Their mission? To ignite a rebellion, to sow chaos, to strike at the very heart of the British Empire. They were ready for a fight, ready for redcoats, ready for cannons. What they weren't ready for was an army of women in red shawls. This wasn't some rogue pirate raid. This was the brainchild of General Lord Hoche, one of France's most brilliant commanders. His grand vision, a three-pronged attack on Britain. The Welsh expedition, led by the Irish-American Colonel William Tate, was a motley crew. 600 French regulars, 800 convicts, and a handful of Irish émigrés. Their orders were simple: destroy Fishguard, burn the ships in the harbour, and march on Bristol, cripple British trade, ignite the flames of revolution. But from the outset, this mission was cursed. Storms scattered the fleet, ships collided, and the landing itself a comedy of errors. They missed their intended target, landing instead at Carreg-Wastad Point, 4 miles west of Fishguard, a desolate, rocky stretch of coastline. Not exactly the strategic foothold they'd envisioned. Colonel Tate, a man whose military career was, let's say, colourful, immediately faced a problem. His convict troops, starved and seasick, quickly discovered a local farmhouse, and in that farmhouse, a cellar full of wine. What followed was less a military advance and more a drunken rampage. Discipline evaporated. The invasion force dissolved into a mob, looting and celebrating their unexpected bounty. Meanwhile, the alarm was raised, not by a crack regiment, but by a local shoemaker named Jemima Nicholas. A woman of formidable reputation, known for her strength and courage. She, along with other local women, armed themselves with pitchforks, scythes, and whatever else they could find. This was not an army. This was a community defending its home. As news of the invasion spread, the local militia, led by Lord Cawdor, began to gather, but they were few in number, outnumbered, outgunned. A direct confrontation would be suicide. Cawdor needed a plan, a deception, and he found it. Not in military textbooks, but in the most unlikely of places. The local Welsh women, still in their traditional red flannel cloaks and tall black hats, were gathering on the hills overlooking the French position, not to fight, but to watch, to observe, to gossip perhaps. But to the French, still reeling from their wine-fueled revelry, and perhaps a little disoriented by the unfamiliar landscape, these red-clad figures on the distant ridges looked different, uniform, organised. Like a second wave of British redcoats, a reserve army, a trap. Colonel Tate, already struggling to control his drunken, mutinous force, saw the red-clad figures. He saw the local militia, small though it was, forming up. He saw his own men, demoralized and disorganized. The psychological impact was devastating. The invasion, which had begun with such high hopes, was now a farce. He sent 2 officers to negotiate. Lord Cawdor, playing his hand perfectly, demanded unconditional surrender. Tate, convinced he was facing a superior force, agreed. On February 24, 1797, just 2 days after landing, Colonel Tate and his entire force of 1,400 men formally surrendered to a small detachment of British militia and local volunteers. The last invasion of Britain ended not with a bang, but with a whimper and a lot of red flannel. The Battle of Fishguard, or rather the non-Battle of Fishguard, was a humiliating defeat for France and the bizarre accidental victory for Britain. The French prisoners were marched through the streets, reportedly mocked by the very women who had, inadvertently, contributed to their downfall. Colonel Tate was eventually exchanged and returned to France, his reputation in tatters. But the legacy of Fishguard is more than just a footnote in military history. It's a testament to the unexpected, to the power of perception, to how a simple, traditional garment, combined with a little bit of fear and a lot of wine, could turn the tide of an invasion. It's a story of how the most audacious plans can unravel in the face of the utterly absurd, and how sometimes the greatest victories are won not with cannons and bayonets, but with a well-placed red shawl and a healthy dose of confusion.